Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I'm going to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I kind of want to talk about something that's, I've never heard anybody talk about stuff like this, but I'm on a walk today that's really put a lot of thought in me about my animals and seeing stuff that they do. One thing that I've been testing out, things, just looking at them is, how am I doing based on how my dogs are doing? Because there's one thing that I do know is very, very obvious to me. I don't know about you and your dogs or how much you even pay attention to them in a sense like this is I could tell what state of mind and state of being and state of everything I'm in. If I'm a little anxious, a little nervous, a little worried, my dogs don't really, like, they'll be near me, but they kind of like, I just keep my space. If I'm like, woohoo, everything's good, life is great, just got $1 million check in the mail, things are looking nice right now, got the bills all paid off, man, the dogs are just like, let's go run, let's go play, let's go party. It's very interesting to be able to like have some self-reflection on things that are going on in your world. Because one of the biggest things that I kind of want to talk about today is headed to a new direction and getting away from the old stuff. This is one thing that is, I don't know what it is, but this is really hard for a lot of people. And that's when you need help. And let's just do it in the dog training sense because I'm talking about a dog right now. I might want to make more videos talking about this same thing in other aspects of life other than just the dog. But I was in I need some help with my dogs. So I went down to the dog training method of like, just basically straight up, just like obedience is kind of just what comes down to it. Obedience through work, obedience through play, obedience through, because I just said so, obedience, just like obedience. And I'm going to have a really nice dog. And then I ran into a situation. I was like, man, I need some help because this isn't giving me what like I'm looking for, to each of your own. You got what you got and you enjoy it and you're like, yeah, I got a good downstay on my dog and my dog is just perfect dog for me now. Great, awesome. But for me, it was meaningless in reality because as soon as I would say free and a lot of dogs to be to run, man, I was like, this downstay is actually making things worse right now. Like seriously, made it worse and worse and worse. Didn't make it better. So that's one thing that I want to help. And then when I was looking for help, in reality, I rejected anything and everything that anyone had to say that was different than what it is that I was already currently doing. Which is strange because you're clearly not going to get any help if you're doing the same stuff again. You got to do something different. You got to be open to different ideas. You got to be able to be willing to explore different concepts and ideas and actually put it into practice. So for me, I just did a leap of faith of, I'm going to try out some different stuff here. And this different stuff that I've been trying out and working on, I started to see things to get better and better and better. So then I started to really pay attention to my day-to-day with everything around me. As far as just how my dogs are interacting with me in a whole just general sense. And then of course, when things start looking better, what happens to you? You start to feel better. So a lot that goes on in your world, you start to get into a better place. So the main thing that I want to talk about here is getting the help, accepting the change that you need for that help, and being able to apply that help, knowing that you need it because you can't just keep doing what it is that you are doing. Because for whatever reason, us as humans, my goodness, we ask for help all the time. But I believe the biggest thing is that most people, you just want to stay, in that level of just misery that's going on. That level of just chaos that you're in. As much as you say you want the help, you absolutely enjoy the bickering, the battling, the fighting, the absolute chaos. You enjoy it. But for me, I don't enjoy it. Now I want to have a complete, like, radical change in my life and reality to get the heck away from it. So when someone comes in with some, that's the only word I can use there, is advice on how to be able to get things to look a little bit better in your life, it would be an amazing thing for you to actually just try it out and be able to see. Because there's something that I have really, really recognized, which is probably the coolest thing that I'm starting to just test out with these dogs is if I'm headed on the right direction on this said new path, then I shouldn't see the old stuff anymore. And if I start seeing old stuff, that must mean that I'm going back and doing some of the old things that I used to do. And that's something that I've been really just witnessing this past couple of, I would just say days, but weeks and for sure. But these past couple of days in specific. Kai, come on. past couple days, I'm sure, that I've been seeing, not so much as the Dalmatian. I don't know what it is with her. She tells me a lot, but she's not deviating to the biggest extreme like I've been seeing with this dog here. I've been seeing him do some stuff that he used to do. I've been seeing him act in ways that he used to act. I've been seeing him do some things that just kind of irritated me a little bit. Like a little bit, what was it today? No, yesterday. Yesterday, irritated me a little bit. The dude's never dancing. He's never like weary of other dogs. But lately, he's been a little weary of other dogs. So I have to really look at my life and have a self-reflection of what am I going back to that is making my animal also just display things that we used to be, we used to act like. He's going back to the sense of like, I'm scared, I'm nervous. I'm worried, I'm unsure, I'm uneasy. I'm not as confident. I'm not as bold. I'm not as just, the world is mine. I got it. I can conquer it. He's kind of turning into a little scared little wimp again for some reason. That's the words I could use there. That's a perfect way of saying it. And it makes me look at myself of, what am I doing that I am headed right back into some old mess? Sorry, I hope the wind's all right. It's pretty dang windy right here. That my life, I'm doing old things to see that this dog is just displaying what it is that's going on with me. That we're not headed to the forward. We're not headed down the right direction. We're actually headed back into the old stuff again. And if we keep heading down into that old stuff, we're just gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse. And then I'm just gonna see the same stuff I used to see. To me, I don't know how to explain this because my way of looking at these animals is, I just guarantee, much different than most every single human being that's alive. I don't have anything new under the sun that to talk about that someone else hasn't probably talked about, but it's just not like main talked about today. And especially there's something that's different with dogs today for sure than they ever have been, that we like live with them more than we ever have in any history that we have like a log towards. I mean, we put these animals in our houses. Like this animal here, which is still weird to me, but I don't know why I let her do it, but she sleeps on the bed. I try to tell her you stay on that side way over there, and I got my side way over here. But it's so weird that we are in new times that we do stuff like that. New times that I'm cooking in the house and making a meal cooking in the house and making a meal, and my dog's just sitting there, just hanging out with me. I'm just sitting, listening to a book or watching a video, and my dogs are just hanging out with me. I'm going for a drive and headed to the store, and my dogs are just there with me. We're in like very different, interesting times in reality, and it's super fascinating. And the way that I'm looking at these dogs is not in the sense of how can I control them, because that's what, I don't care what anybody says. That's what dog training represents. It just is what it is. I'm in a sense of just allowing the dog to be able to express who it is and what it is. And when I'm living in the world of moving forward that way, my dogs keep getting better and better and better. That's just how I view my own self. The more that people are trying to control me and tell me and put me in this box and put me in this place and tell me I can do this and do that and gotta sit here, you can't sit there, the worse and worse that I would get. The more I would just get off and be more free of just, you're not gonna tell me you can't, straight up. This is one of the biggest things with me. Don't tell me how to live my life, especially if you're not living a life that is anything of what it is that I'm looking for. And we got a lot of people out there that I had to clean house a little bit to just get some mess out of my life, is what I could say, is to just be able to move forward, is realizing that I want to be me. I'm not going to allow you to tell me what it is that I need to be like and how I need to be. And that's where, for me, I start to see the forward things get better, like with my dogs. But then when I start to see them go back to some old stuff, it makes me just really question, am I headed back in that same stuff? And I have to just look at it and just be real and just say, I am. I'm headed back into absolute chaos. I'm headed back into just frustration. I'm headed back into just issues and problems. And in reality, this is the coolest part, I put myself in it. Because for some reason, when things are just going smooth, I don't know about y'all, but this is just my life. When things are just going smooth, it's kind of like I gotta put something in it to just like make it turn back to chaos again, as opposed to just living in that smoothness, living in that just things are getting good, things are being calm, things are steady, things are just consistent. I kind of like put something in there to just like I'll dabble into it. Like I literally put, Kai, come on. I literally just put myself in it, as opposed to just saying, I just want to stay in this. I don't want to go to chaos. I just want to be able to hang out in this. Kai, I just want to be able to just enjoy it. So it's like right here. Let me see if I can get him on video. Let me get his little stuff. Right here. Okay, so he's doing much better now because I just don't give a crap again. I think it's stuff that I've been focusing my time and energy on again in life is realizing just this whole concept here. Come on. Now, you don't want to stop in a sniff, Ophi. Let's go. Stuff that I just realized is I don't want to go back to the old stuff. And I'm trying my best to stay out of it. And I'm looking at these dogs as like a guide in reality to help me. Because when I see that things are better and better and better, I know that I'm on the right path that I should be staying on. But when I see that my dogs start to do some old stuff again, I know I'm off my path. I know I'm headed to the wrong direction. I know that I gotta like stop, get a real hard look at what's going on in my world and say, hey, I need a change to get back onto that path that I do want, which is how to be able to be more calm, peaceful, relaxed, how to be more patient, how to have more forgiveness, how to just be what I want to say is a better human, as opposed to one that's just enjoying the chaos. Because again, I believe that most people just want to stay in that chaos. It is not easy to get away from it because it's all that this world in reality straight up is. This world is just mad. It's impressive. It's wild. It's crazy. And when you start to get away from it, you kind of just, because the biggest thing that I just know personally in my life is you start to get, this is a word that I don't like because it's not the correct word, but it's the easiest word to use, that one can get lonely because you got no one to communicate to. Because once you start to decide to get into a place that you don't want to have the chaos, you're realizing that most people are just wanting that and trying to bring that to you. And the more that you keep talking to more people, the more that you kind of go right back into that same old chaos, as opposed to finding people that don't want to be a part of that, which for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's so hard to find. It's so hard to find folks that just want to simply just enjoy life, just want to see the best in you, that just want to help you out, to watch you grow and watch you get into a better place and just actually want that. Hi. That are actually looking for something like that, as opposed to wanting to just get for themselves, wanting something for them. Because that's the part that, man, I'm always studying with my dogs. That the more that I just give to them, the more that I do for them, just to see the best in them, the better everything is, as opposed to me just coming in with, sit, I said sit, you ain't got no choice. You're excited, and I'm gonna force you to just sit here and be calm. That's where I was butting heads, because that's when I was realizing what actually is going on in this world. So the more that I would get this calmness, the more said I'd run into a stance of like, man, I got no one to, in reality, really talk to at all. And it could put you in a place of like, oh, that's a good word to use right there, of worry, of I'm unsure of what's going on, because I kind of enjoy that chaos at the end of the day. And it's super fascinating to just realize that more than likely what it is that you want to do, that change that you want, is going to be very, very hard. It's not going to be doing the same stuff that you used to do. You can't do the same stuff anymore. You got to do something different. And if you really want that help, that difference is going to be the biggest challenge, I believe. And for some reason, most don't want to take that challenge on. They just want to keep it easy and keep it going and just deal with the said problems and keep living in these problems of one day things are all right, one day things are horrible, one day things are okay, one day I just don't even want to be here anymore type attitudes that a lot of people have, and having to go towards some sort of something. Because the biggest one I realized for even myself is going towards like trying to communicate to somebody and just trying to bring that chaos in a sense of, that's the best way of saying it, is like trying to make fake friends, basically. Kai, I don't know what it is. I like the little dogs. Come here, boy. So we'll see how he acts with a little boy. This one's gonna bark at me. Come on, guys. I'll let you pee that one out. Come on. I'm happy to see that we're headed back in the right direction right now. That I've been messing up by trying to, I don't know where to use here, say other than just show off with them. Trying to make them look away as opposed to just, who cares what y'all view me as long as I'm able to have what it is that I'm looking for. Someone may view me as, oh, look at your dogs, they're up there pulling you. But I have a specific purpose, a specific job, a specific task that I'm asking for these dogs to do that the outside person has no idea what I'm doing right now. The outside person is like, oh, you're just letting your dogs just drag you around. And that would, I started to, best words I could say is apply pressure to say, no, our image is like this. And I want people to view me like this. And that was starting to put me back in that box of control. I need to talk to people like this. I need to hang out with folks like this. And it'll make people look at and view me a certain way. And I started seeing through my dogs that I was going right back into the same mess that I've been trying to get out of, the same crazy madness that I used to be a part of. So my dogs are just showing me in real time what's going on. It's fascinating to just watch them, just wake up in the morning and see how my dog looks at me. And I'm like, oh, I know what state of mind I'm in right now. And I know how to adjust what's going on in my day to be able to make sure that I'm going to get right back on track with where it is that I want to go. Dogs are fascinating. I don't know how else to say, like, how entertaining they are to straight up in reality be around. They irritate you sometimes, but that irritation is something that is under your control. You don't have to get irritated with what's going on with them. And the more that they're doing something that in reality is kind of said irritating you, the more that you got to realize that you're not on the right path of doing what it is that you should be doing. That you got to make some changes here. And that change is hard, but the change is required. And I'm only here to help folks that want to actually do that change. Because as many people as I try to help, you get on board with the change, and then you just go right back to the same old thing again. And then you're like, why aren't things getting better? Because you're going right back to the same stuff. You're actually not moving forward with the new. You enjoy the, like, where you're used to the old stuff. That's just what you want to do, as opposed to just moving on to the new. And that's why for me, my approach of dog training is almost impossible for most all people. That's why that's a word that I don't even want to, I'm not classified as a dog trainer. That's not what I do. That's not at all what I represent. And what I talk about and what I talk about, what I do is just, it's not for straight up anyone, unless you actually want to make a change with what it is that's going on with you. You want to actually just push forward into the unknown of, I want to experience differentness and not the same old mess again. Because most people that want help, you don't want help. You want someone to just come to you to try to give you a little tweak. You do the same stuff, but you do the same stuff like this instead. No, you got to do something completely different here. And it's a challenge. It's a big challenge for most. But you can't be forced into it. You gotta want it. You gotta desire it and make that choice all on your own. That's the part that I think is the hardest, is what society pressure puts on you, how things need to be, how things need to look. When you're not worried about that anymore, you'll be very surprised that a lot of the issues that are going on in your world just disappear overnight, literally overnight. A lot of my problems literally just, again, disappeared overnight because I had to make hard decisions of saying, if I go back into that again, I'm going to have those same problems again. But if I decide to say, you know what, this is in my control. I don't care what anybody has to even think of me. I'm doing what I got to do. And I can see overnight a change happen. It's fascinating to be able to just know that you actually can and you actually are in control of you instead of allowing everyone else to control you. Thank you. My dogs really do show me real time what's going on. I know exactly how I am, what's going on with me, in every instant by how I interact and how my dogs interact and approach me, and how they work for me and what they do for me. When I'm hostile, my dogs are like, they want nothing to do to listen to me. When I'm all excited, if I'm too excited even, they still don't want to listen because it just turns into like this extreme little crazy like playtime type stuff. And it's like, no, we don't want to be that extreme. And when I'm just right, just what do you call it, the three little pigs, you're the one, you're just right. Everything was just good with that meal. Everything was just good with it. And you see how things just really just mellow out and start to become very, very predictable. That's one of the biggest things that I've been personally struggling with in life, is that level of being consistent in your mindset, in your mood, in your ideas, in what you're doing, and just being able to stay focused and stay at something. I don't know what it is with me. It's just every couple of years I'm like, oh, I'm done. I got to move on. I got to go away. But instead of just giving up and going away, I've been able to slow down to realize what I actually want, what I'm actually looking for. Man, the video I just made yesterday, what do I want? I made that video and I had asked myself a lot of hard questions. What do I want? What do I want to do? And it's something that just lets me realize something that I do know I want is a simple, easy way to be able to communicate to these silly little dogs. And the more that I was doing what everyone else is trying to tell me to do, how to get that, I wasn't getting there. The second that I started doing something different, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And then the second that I start to see them do the same old mess again, is the second that, okay, I'm going right back into the old stuff again. It's very just interesting to just be alive right now in reality. I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear.